Allô? Ouais. C'est parti? Okay, so start in 30 seconds. We're waiting for the people to sell. C'est bon? Bon? Okay, so what we are going to see today is the advanced manufacturing planning. So the presentation will have 5 parts. So first we are going to start with an introduction. Then we are going to see the different tools that we have to actually plan your production in Odoo. Afterwards we are going to see a little demo with everything we've seen before. And then a conclusion, and then we'll make a session for the Q&A. So first of all, thank you all for coming to this presentation. I hope you are as excited as we all are, I think, about this new version of Odoo. So yeah, let's begin. So here in the introduction, we are going to see what is new in Odoo v13 in terms of manufacturing planification. So here, first of all, we have the subcontracting that will be way more detailed in a talk at 5:30 this afternoon with one of my colleagues in the theater. So we are not going to go into that at this talk, but if you're interested with that and this new feature, you can have a look at this talk. It will be quite interesting, I think. Here we totally redesign and recreate the master production schedule. So this was a feature that was in older version, but we totally changed it for this new version. After we're going to see the flexible bill of materials. So that allow you to have a flexible consumption of materials once you are producing goods with Odoo. The possibility to use alternative work centers. So no, it's something that is possible as well to have different work centers that are doing the same operation. The planification of orders, the cancellation of manufacturing order, and the Google Slide integration. So first of all, the tool I want to introduce you is the master production schedule. So we totally redesigned it. It's now easier to use. It's way more flexible. It allows you to add more products, while there was a limitation before. You have a more detailed information available with this new master production schedule. It's allowing you to do a real follow-up of all your replenishment. They can be either if you are buying stuff or manufacturing goods. It's obviously integrated with Odoo applications such as inventory, purchases, for example, and it now supports the multi-warehouse that we hadn't. It wasn't possible before. So first of all, this is the new master production schedule. I think that Fabien showed it in his keynote as well. But here now you can have here your products, and here you can have different information. So you can find the starting inventory that you have, the forecast of the demand, the indirect demand forecast, the quantity to replenish that you have to set yourself, and the forecasted stock that you're going to have for this period. Here, once you want to add new products in the master production schedule, you have to define here a safety stock target. So that means the safety stock you want to have and the minimum if you want that you want to replenish each time to be sure that you have enough stock available for your customers. Here you can also set a minimum to replenish and a maximum to replenish. And here you see that you have a little menu with the rows, and it's all available to promise. In this new master production schedule, the color of the cell will be a great information that will allow you to know directly what you have to do. So you have 4 different colors for your cells in the MPS. You have the green cell. So the quantity of product that should be replenished will reach the expected safety stock, and considering the demand and the indirect demand forecast. The gray cell means that the replenishment order has already been made. So basically it matches current data, so you don't have to do anything and you don't have to replenish more. The red cell here means that the replenishment order has already been generated and the quantity is too high. Consider that what you have planned. And here the orange cell is basically the same, but meaning if it's orange, that means that your quantity, so you created the replenishment already, but the quantity is too low depending of what based on your current data. Afterwards, we are going to see the flexible bill of materials. So here, now you have, once you create a bill of material, you have here this miscellaneous stuff where you can put here the consumption as flexible. So now you can decide for each of your bill of materials if you want them to be strict, so that means that you will not be able to consume more products than expected, or flexible, so that means that you can continue the consumption of products for certain products that you have to define. We are going to see that. In order to do that, you need the quality application. So what you need to do is create a control point that has a type which is defined here, the register consumed materials. You have to define on which bill of materials you're going to go. Once you are going to be in your work order view, here you can either validate or you have the button to continue consumption. There you have the product, and there you have the quantity you actually consumed effectively in your bill of material. Once your manufacturing order will be over, you will see that here you will have a line in orange that tells you, okay, for this line you consumed, here you had one to consume, so what was planned initially, and then here the quantity that you really consumed during your manufacturing order. For the alternative work center, so now imagine if you have like a production work, or if you have two places where you can do the same operations, you can now put an alternative work center. That means that once you will plan your production and that Odoo will know that, I don't know, today at 11 you have to do an operation at this work center, if it's busy, automatically it will redirect the production to the other work center. So here, that's how it's going to happen. Here, for example, I have here my work center, I have my first table, and here I created an alternative table. Table 1 is my main work center for this operation, and here automatically I will, if I schedule two production on the same day at the same hour, automatically it will switch to the other one. We are going to see that in the demo after to see how that works live. It's now also possible to put here a planned date on your manufacturing orders, so you can really schedule the way you want all your manufacturing. We are also going to see the different views, so we can have a planning by work centers. For example, we are going to see that in the demo. So here you can plan your manufacturing orders to the date that is really the best for you, and that allows you to forecast a little bit better your production. So here you can see the work orders here, the work order planning. So you can see for each work order which work center you're going to use, and here you still have the calendar view of the manufacturing order that you can find in other versions as well. It is also now possible to cancel easier your manufacturing order. So imagine here you have a manufacturing order which follows a routing that has several work orders. If you start your production and that you already did some work orders and you have operations in progress, it's possible to cancel it with no problem, and then you can then cancel your production. You don't have to do a lot of operations to revert all the operations you wanted to do. So it is now possible as well to cancel this manufacturing order in the middle of a work order. And now we also have Google Slide integration for your worksheet. So that means that when you have a routing and you have several operations, you were able to put a PDF file for your workers, your employees, to see all the operations they had to do. Now you can put a URL here of a Google slide. So that means that you just have to modify your Google slide online, and automatically, with the integration we have, it will appear in your vocoder once you are processing different vocoders. So no, there's a lot of nice stuff. Let's see how that works in real life. So here I have a nice database. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So here I have basically all the applications that are linked to manufacturing. So here let's start with the master production schedule. So here in my planning, my master production schedule. Here now I have a button to add a product. So here I will do that. I have to select my product. So I'm going to put a table, which I manufacture generally. So this table is a manufactured product. I will put a safety stock target of 1000, and I'm going to save. So it appears directly in my master production schedule. I can add another product, which is a chair. Okay, I don't know, I want to have at least 15 chairs at any time. So here, in the cell, I'm going to have, nice. I'm going to have, take that. I'm going to have here the safety stock, the minimum I want to have. Here 100 for the tables and 15 for the chairs. I can here add new information. So my actual demand, the actual replenishment, and my available to promise. Okay, so I can make appear a lot of more information into my master production schedule. I see here that I have all the green cells. And for example, here, if I click here in the actual replenishment, I can see everything which is ongoing. So here I have the 0 request for quotation, 0 receipt and stuff. But here, for example, I can add, this is a manufactured product, so I can replenish it. And automatically, my cell turns gray. And I have here my request for quotation. Here, it's the same, so that works with sales. Here, with manufacturing, I can do it as well. I'm going to replenish, and automatically it will generate the manufacturing orders here in my operations. Okay, I see here my manufacturing order generated with the source, that is the MPS. So I know where that comes from, and I can do a full traceability. And the same with my sales here. And I have here, I'm buying 15 shares. Now, if I confirm that order and that I have a receipt, and I will create a new one, okay, of 15 as well. Okay, if I go back to my master production schedule, here, my MPS, I will see that this cell is red because I have more than expected, and I'm depending on my expected quantity, I have more in the replenishment, and I can have a look directly at it here. I have 15 units in request for quotation, 15 units in receipt, and the same here for my table. I have here 100 units in manufacturing orders. Okay, so now this master production schedule is really a tool that can help you to follow all your replenishment in general, either by purchasing or manufacturing, and it's totally linked with inventory, obviously. Let's have a look now at the orders. We are going to create here a manufacturing order for another product. So let's say I want to use here my bill of material to have a burger. So here I have my secret recipe, so don't share it, please. I have 2 buns, 1 meat, 1 lettuce, and 1 tomato. And what I did on the other side is that I created a control point to register the consumption on the meat, because you know you have some customers that are a bit complicated sometimes. They want 2 meats in their burger, so I created a control point for that. So here, this is my control point. I want to register here the tasty burger, and here I want to register the consumed materials of meat. Okay. So now when I'm going to launch this manufacturing order. Okay. Let's say here I'm going to have my burger. Okay, mark as to do. I'm checking the quantity if I have all the components available. I'm going to plan it. And here I put the operation on my, well, the check of my consumption on my second operation. So the first one is ready. I'm going to process it directly. Okay, mark is done. And here I have my second operation. I'm going to process. And here I have the continue consumption. So here, if I click on that, continue consumption, I have to say the quantity I'm going to put. Well, let's say the guy wanted like 25 meat in total. Why not? I'm going to validate that. And here I'm going to mark my manufacturing order as done. So here you will be able to see if I go back to my manufacturing orders. Okay, the number 5. I have here in the tasty meat, I have here one quantity to consume at first, but here I effectively consume 25, so they will go out of my stock. So let's say now that, okay, I have a nice burger with a lot of meat. That's a good start, but I mean, what would it be without some Belgian fries? So I'm going here to edit it. I'm going to plan it, I don't know, let's say the 17th of October, and let's put at noon. Okay. I'm going to save and mark it as to do. So here in my planning by work center, I will be able to see that, yeah, no, I didn't validate it. Okay, check availability and plan it. So here, if I'm going to see my work center, I see that the 17 from noon to 1, I'm producing that with the work center, the fryer 1, but I have another fryer that I'm going to use. So here I'm going to create a new work order, and I know that I will have a lot of demand at that time. So I'm going to put here the same, okay, at noon. Okay, mark as to do, check availability and plan. So my routing of frying normally takes my work center 1, so that means my fryer number 1, but I set the fryer number 2 as an alternative work center, and here I'm going to plan it, and here, I mean, I can now do that directly from the Gantt view, and I can modify the work center directly with that Gantt view, and I can decide and organize my production in a way that I can put anything I want here, and I can modify it and modify my planning. Okay. So here, I think that's it. So if you have any questions about those new tools, we are going to do the conclusion first. So now Odoo will help you plan your production more easily than ever. So you really have a lot of ways to plan your production according the way you want. So it's way more flexible. It's in total integration with your other workflow that might be from purchasing, sales, inventory. You have a user-friendly interface, so that's sometimes changed from the other manufacturing software we know. And you have a total control over all your production from the planification, so when you're going to do all the planning of your production to the reporting, what you effectively consumed and stuff like that. So, thank you very much. If you have any questions, we can let them. Yeah, tell me. Tell me.
Does a new version take into account sales orders in the NPS?
Yes. Yes, it will in the demand, and you have a notion of indirect demand, so it will take that. Yeah, and here, yeah.
About the flexible production of acquisition, is it mandatory to have control points or
Yes, for now it's yes, it's mandatory to set a control point because you have to say which product you're going to register the consumption from. So here it goes with a control point. Yeah. Yeah.
So in the Gantt view, does the production, is it planned according to the capacity of the workstations?
Yes, here that's something I didn't show, but when you do your routing, you have to put the time it will take, the cost you will have. So here it has a time of 1 hour by default here. So when I created my routing, here you have this. So here for each operation you have a duration. And here you can modify that and you can set up a cost on your cost center. So here you can have either the cost and on the operation the time it will take. So here it was 1 hour. So by default in my Gantt view, it puts here by work center. So let's take the day of, it was the 17th. I don't have it here. Yeah. Here I have the 17th of October. So here you can see that it takes 1 hour, but that's my operation, that's my operation's duration. But here you can really have and define for each operation how much time it will take, and for each work center how much does it cost per hour. So you can have all that information. Yeah. Yeah.
Does the master production schedule take into account the bill of material components, so the need for the components if you plan the master production?
So I didn't understand.
So in the master production schedule, let's say you have a table, you plan 100 tables, does it take into account the need for the components of that table?
Here, I guess that if your components are in make-to-order route, automatically, if you will have a pull from your bill of material. So if your components have the route and make-to-order and buy, if you need to realize manufacturing orders, automatically you will generate the purchase for the components. So here it depends, I think, of the configuration of the products you have on your bill of material.
So basically you have to launch the manufacturing order for the table.
Yeah, but here you could imagine a workflow where you have your table, which is your bill of material, but you can also add in here the master production schedule. You could add here your components. So here I didn't remember, but it was, I think, table leg, for example, which is a component of my bill of material. And okay, I'm going to save that. And I can have the replenishment either from my components and my bill of material. So I can decide here exactly what I want, and you can combine the different routings and different ways to replenish your stock in Odoo with reordering rules, make to order, or no, the master production schedule. So those are 3 different tools that allow you to do your replenishment the way that best suits the product and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. No other questions?
Sometimes when you run the MMB, okay, the word manufacturing order were created automatically. Okay, there is any source where they come from right now or not? Because sometimes you have a lot of sale orders and you have a lot of manufacturing orders, but you miss the information from the sale order to the manufacturing order.
Yeah.
You do not use the make to order.
Okay. Here it depends really how you want to work with that. I mean that if you work with make to order, for example, that means that you're going to do a sale and automatically you're going to do your manufacturing orders. So that's the first. If you have, for example, a reordering rule because you want a minimum stock of a product that you are manufacturing, when you are going to go below the control, the safety stock you have put on your reordering rule, automatically you are going to do the manufacturing order. And here now you have the master production schedule where you can set, okay, for this period, I don't know, I'm selling ice cream, so here in October in Belgium you don't sell a lot, but if you are during summer, you can say, okay, for each month here I want to put, and I want to have the information, and for example here in June 2020, I want to put, I don't know, I want to produce 1,000 ice creams. And so here, those are just different tools to manage your production. But here, if you want your production to follow exactly what you are selling, make to order, I think, would be a better solution.
But I just want a reference in the manufacturing order, where they come from. Because I know that you need to order how it works.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have a lot of orders.
But yeah.
And you go like stuff.
But here you have the source. You always have the source here.
But my question is if there is any tool to automatically transfer the information.
Well, here it will be in the source. If no, I have a make-to-order route for a product, and which is a manufactured product, automatically in the source I'm going to have the sale order. If this is made by a reordering rule, automatically I will have the information as well. So there is this field here, and maybe it's even possible to, well, not group by the model, but no. Here, well, we could have a look together afterwards, and I can show you this feature if you want, so you could be able to track the source. Okay? Yeah.
The AB is only by month. Can you have it by week?
No, you can change the date of the master production schedule. I think it's a configuration. Here, let's see. Yes, here you can have monthly, weekly, or daily. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for attending to this call. So I wish you good luck with those other experience. Thank you. Yeah, tell me.
Je mets de Madonna d'habitude. Yeah, we used to using the Madonna things when we were on stage 3 days, 2 nights, and I was on stage in France some months ago, and it's big thing. And so we're using, of course, for the mailing MailChimp. You all know that, and that was what we had. A lot of Excel worksheets to compute a lot of things, commissions of people. We have a lot of ambassadors. Do that all manually, so that we had to move. And so the business processes were not clear to us. This is very entrepreneurial, so we were learning by doing and learning a lot and doing mistakes, and there was much too much complexity. It was more than time to change this. So we decided early 2018 that it was more than time to do something professional. So we had a look, and I think Denis will explain more, and Toussaint will show. We had looked at the market, saying, okay, what would be a right solution for us? We looked at about 10 applications, 10 possible solutions, and the idea was having less paper, of course, because all the orders were done on paper and so on. It was a big thing. Less complexity, having instead of 4 different customer databases, have maybe 1 would be better and all connected, and having in fact a front end and a back end, because we didn't have in fact a difference, and we in fact had no CRM at all. So everything was just a mess. So what is then the solution? So before giving the stage to Denis, what is the solution? So what we did is first say, okay, we need a CRM, one common big database where we would find every information, where people, when they register, they get from the first contact on our website. When they register, they go into the database. And then from there, we can do, of course, mailings, we can confirm, we can take the payments, we can also repay when people want to be reimbursed. And everything, the invoicing was automated from there on, and we could do the accountancy. Also, the people, when they register to the programs, they also sign domiciliation bancaire, a banking domiciliation, you know, so that when we put the invoice to their bank, it's paid, which is also very useful. So the idea was we need that, so that all the registration, payments, in invoicing, accounting is done at once, and it's easier to contact people, send out information for the programs. But we also have this right thing, which is what? We have a lot of people around us because they like what we do, and they want to get people to our events. And we call them ambassadors, and we have now many ambassadors who do part of their time, they get people to our events. And of course we are very grateful, so they also receive some money when some of the people that they get to our events buy from the programs. And so all these ambassadors needed to have a portal, because everything also there was done manually. They call, oh yes, did my client or my friend register? We have to check. Yes, okay, has he paid? Yeah, has he registered to a program? And then can I get my commission? Yeah, that's the business. So also this is now, it's ongoing just right now to have this portal ongoing. And we have also a customer portal so that the people can themselves see where have they registered. Is it okay? Is there an issue? Have they paid or not? So all this is done by 2 portals, and I think Toussaint will show maybe what this means, and then we can also do now some campaigns. So we have some figures, and then it's up to you. C'est ça? Quelques chiffres? Yeah. No, then it's all for you. Ah ben voilà.
Thank you.
Voilà. Questions will be later. Tu veux? Vas-y.
Okay, so let's see that now on real. So we improve the usability of the event Odoo standard application. Indeed, the standard application only allows to display dates. It's not possible to gather together all the dates from a specific training, as les clés du succès or explosive event that you see on the screen. And as you can see, you have only dates, and it is not easy to find out all the dates that belongs to the same training. So we improved the standard behavior. The customer can now register to a specific training, les clés du succès here. Okay. And subsequently, see all the dates and choose the most suitable for him. So For example, for the Clé du Succès, you have 2 dates, 15th of November and 29th of November, in Belgium and in France. The development also gives the opportunity for the customer to change his mind and subscribe to another session. Okay. In Odoo Standard, the customer, and yeah, this change of session was very important, and it's not available in Odoo Standard. So in Odoo Standard, the customer must fill in a lot of parameters before being able to confirm his order. Sorry. Which makes the sales process very long, and this is not suitable for Essence. And as a development, we made it possible for Etienne to set all parameters in advance in the quotation template. So I will show you, sorry, the quotation template here. So I go to Sales, Configuration, Quotation Template. So I already created one. So here Etienne can prepare the sales. Okay. So we added nice feature in this template, such as the possibility for Etienne to choose which payment plans he wants to offer to the customer in this tab here. So he decided to ask the customer to pay a minimum percentage of advance payment of 30%, and he proposed to the customer to pay in one time or in 5 monthly installments. Also, another nice feature, he can add information to the customer. As you see on the slide, he likes to offer presents to his dearest customer.
If you like presents, you have to come.
So now that everything is ready, Etienne takes his tablets and walks around in Ola Magna to hunt new customers. Already someone come along. The person seems convinced by Etienne's presentation today. With his tablet here, so I did it on my computer, but you can imagine it on tablet. So the customer write his name here with Etienne. Okay, I will do it for me. I'm already registered in the database, but I could fill in the contact details here, so I validate. And now, as a customer, I just want one ticket. And I choose the quotation template that Etienne before configured. So I have only one here, so next. Here, the customer receives his bonus. I have an overview of the cost of the ticket, with the tax and so on. Here, I can choose which payment plan I would like how I would like to pay the ticket. So I have the choice between 1 or 5 times. If I click on 5, the system will automatically calculate the amount of the installment and also add the installment cost. But as I want to avoid installment cost, I will choose to pay in one time. So now I pay my account 30%, it's 117 euro. So I have 0 left to pay for the account. And Essence confirm to have received the payment, and I confirm the condition, the sales terms actually. So I can click and see them also. Also, which is really nice, there is here a hidden button where I can click. At each moment, I can cancel the sales process if I would like to. Continuer d'actuel. So I confirm. Takes a small time. Okay. The attendee information are already filled in, which is not the case in Odoo Standard. So I confirm. And now the sale order is already confirmed, and I'm registered at Les Clés du Succès. The payment, the advance payment has been invoiced already. The invoice is automatically sent to the customer, and yes, it's already in the accounting. So now the customer will receive portal access, and he can log in and choose which dates he wants to join in and start to change his life. Yes. Okay, come back. So now I
maybe in very short, this was of course a kind of example, not a clearly real one, because maybe you think, okay, for 390 euros, do we have to do all this? In fact, this is used on tablets during the events where we register for the education programs, and either people register for friends that will show up for next time, or they buy programs which are usually about 8,000 to 9,000 euro, and there they make installment plans live with us, and they pay, and the planning is done at once when they register, which is of course a very useful thing. And also these tablets, we have a very small training, because we have about 30 people that are in the room to take all the orders. They are with their tablets, and so it's a very small training for them to understand how to use the tablets with the people next to them. Okay, what's your name? Okay, what's the installment? What will you do? What's the dates? And it's very useful and easy to use. So in some numbers, so the project that we started at the end of last summer, last year, was about nine months. We still have now identified other things, as you can imagine, that we should do better. Today we have about 10,000 people in the system that we are connected with, and so that we connect with them now very, very often. In the company we are about 25. We have 13 people that are users of Odoo for the business. I'm one of them, so I'm working also sometimes, because he says, in fact, all what he said Etienne will do, I never do myself, but I am in Odoo looking at what's happening. We have about 40 events per year, and it's growing, and it's also in different countries, so that's growing fast. The emails today is not much, it's growing very fast, because we started quite recently, and so we expect that we'll have about at least 100,000 emails this year. And then we have about 140 people using the portal. So that must be very user-friendly, because they are not trained at all to use it, so they must be able to use it very easily, and that's to get the information: have I registered my clients or not, have they paid or not, is there any commission to be paid, and so on. So that's also must be very user-friendly. C'est à moi ça ou c'est à toi? Oh, okay. Okay. So what we have as benefits, key benefits, certainly is that what we see, and of course we will learn more in the future, is that customer engagement must be big. Today, also inside the company, we still have to make some progress on using Odoo the best way. But in fact, why did we also choose Easy IT? I must say, because we know each other for 30 years in different previous stories, because he's also a multiple entrepreneur. And in fact, what was right, I thought, was Odoo is Belgian, I like. Easy, of course, is also local, that's good. But also, it's about kind of, we have the common entrepreneurial way of seeing. So I think our RFP at the very start was maybe not a good example for what it should have been. The person that I put as a project manager on our side was not the right person, so two. On their side, it's also very entrepreneurial, so when we have to solve things, we know we can do. And our RFP was not perfect, or maybe your offer also, but we solve things. And so a lot of flexibility, a lot of things that common way, common values makes it easy to work, because we don't have everything forecasted. We had to discover, to re-engineer our own processes. And we had to do that by doing the implementation of Odoo. So that was all a bit, so we were not really completely prepared of what we needed. So the co-development and so on, it's good to build the trust with the commercial team. Well, that's also good, very good things, okay, that we know. And so what I like more now is that, of course, it's very important for us that we have less paper, that you understand, that we have things completely automated. Getting from 50 clients, corporate, to 10,000 small customers is, of course, a completely different business. It's the first time in my life that I have a real B2C business. Always been B2B before. So learning this was something I was not prepared at all. So this step, we took it, maybe, but we are building all the emails that we will send out before and after all the different events and programs. The 360 degrees views on the customers, because now everything is connected to one database, which we hadn't before, and I'm using it a lot for the moment on some specific topics. And of course, so what we hope is not maybe proven yet, but I think we will do, is that the customer loyalty will be much better, because they will have access to information easier, they will have quicker answers. We are building an FAQ, because there are a lot of different questions, so that they will have the FAQ very easy and not having to call, having something or an email and having an answer. So all of this should also be much better, and I think we will save a lot of time, and they will save a lot of time and energy too, and less frustrations. Yeah, very simple. So the things that already work well and the ones that we still have to work on, the ticketing, and we are still improving it now, la billetterie, is of course is key. That's where we have the big volumes. That's working well, and we will improve. The users inside Essence, I think we should still improve the training that we deliver to the people. They are not enough trained, so I didn't put the right project manager. Also the training, I think we should have planned better, but still today we have 13 people using it and doing things that they didn't do before, so that's already something. Odoo awareness so could be increased, and we have to work on that. The CRM, we don't use it really yet. Of course, there is the common database, but really using all the potential, we are still nowhere. So we have a lot of things to do and to learn to use it much better and use the whole potential of the CRM. And ambassador engagement is also, we are working on this right now, and having this portal in the coming weeks will be also delivered. So, so that's it. So, of course, you're all welcome at Les Clés du Succès. That the next time in Belgium is in mid-November, and we are very grateful also to Easy that we have now a good platform to be able to reach and grow much more the business. Otherwise, I think we would be strangled. And now we are able to help many more people in many more countries for much more time.
Do you have any questions? It's the time, yes?
Are you also planning or doing like resource management in your application for trainers, classrooms, or whatever?
Yeah, yes, one of the things, the number of trainers that we have now is quite limited. It's less than 10. Because it's really very focused on some people that are really have done big businesses, have delivered and can share. So it's not a big thing now, but we will do. Also, they want to know what they get from payments, and they have royalties on the things that they have invented, and so there are some calculations, computings.
Other questions?
Any other question? Okay, thanks very
Different
much
business.
for attending this session. If you want to have a very good experience with the customer, please call us. We have a stand in the exhibition area, so don't hesitate to contact with us.
And I'd like to talk to you for a little bit about something very near and dear to my heart, which is CRM. How many of you have ever used Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, or other CRM systems out there? Salesforce? A few. Okay. Microsoft Dynamics CRM? Few. Sugar? Just got to ask. Any Sugar? Okay, some Sugar people out there. That's good. It was really interesting this morning to see Fabian start out with discussions about sales and marketing, and I think that actually is a really good way to start this discussion here too. We've been using Odoo CRM for our customers for some number of years, and recently we've even hired people that formerly were implementers of Salesforce to help us do a better job on using Odoo for this. So I propose we talk about a couple of things today. One is, let's talk a little bit about the competition. A couple that in the US would be the big competitors we'd have, and then we'll transition into a few case studies that we can talk about too. Microsoft Dynamics for many years was the go-to gold standard of CRMs, especially for small to medium businesses. It integrated with SharePoint and other Microsoft products as well, and made it so that it was, if you were already a Microsoft shop, this was an obvious choice for your CRM system after that. Salesforce took a different approach and really started as salespeople talking to other salespeople, and that's been their strength all along, is they really understand what a salesperson is looking for in a CRM system. In fact, one thing that I think is extremely powerful about Salesforce in this is they have the ability to get around IT organizations and talk directly to a sales. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, they will totally bypass an IT department in order to talk to the salespeople directly and sell directly to them. That's saying something about their messaging and their ability to really connect with people in the industry. Let's talk a little bit about what the cost, because this is obviously one of the starting points of any discussion when you're selling enterprise software, and certainly Odoo has some advantages here. Making some assumptions roughly on size and shape, these numbers tend to be pretty accurate from what we've seen. The first implementation I've ever been involved with of Salesforce, as a matter of fact, we thought we were getting a screaming deal at, let me see if I can make this work, at $100 per user per month. That to us seemed like we were getting the best deal ever for Salesforce. There is this idea of there's an initial implementation. You can think of it as some sort of quick starter sort of package, and that generally is common in all these solutions. And then there is some sort of idea of mandatory support that you have to pay for too as a yearly ongoing cost beyond just your license cost too. There is an additional charge for mobile apps, and what we've seen is these numbers for Salesforce and Dynamics roughly are the same with other common CRM systems you'd see out there as well. I told you we knew a little bit about Salesforce, so let me just demonstrate a moment of that here. Salesforce in their sales team actually has their own pipeline management system, their own stages, and these are publicly known. I'm not saying anything I shouldn't, but you can see the kinds of things that they're really trying to get to as they move the conversation along with their customers. Why am I putting this up here? I see a lot of purple shirts for Odoo people, so good job for being here. This is how you sell CRM, something along these lines to enterprise customers as well. The kinds of things that they're really looking for when you're selling Salesforce to a customer is really identifying that business challenge, that compelling event. My friend, who's one of the best business consultants in the United States, says the burning platform. What's the reason you have to do something now? From there, it is determining, once you've gotten to that of identifying what it is, and it's determining the impact and the timeline around that, as well as ultimately who's going to make that decision. At that point, there's some sort of validation of, are the people I'm talking to actually able to make a decision and move forward? There's this sense of confirming the value with a close plan, a budget we all agree to, negotiating that, and then finalizing the closure. So there you go. Now you have the secret sauce for how Salesforce sells to companies. Go forth and make this better. Do it your own way, but better. So why do customers switch to Odoo? There's a reason we started with talking about price. Salesforce and Dynamics CRM really are more expensive, quite a bit more expensive. And there really is an opportunity to offer amazing functionality for CRM and now even marketing automation with Odoo. I really was blown away with some of the stuff Fabian was showing for marketing automation. I thought that was really cool. But those would all be extras and add-ons that you'd get through the Salesforce ecosystem, for example, if you were trying to do it there. There's this sense of lock-in, and this turns out to be something, back to the IT departments and what is a good IT department doing? They're trying not to get businesses locked into a platform, trying to get purchase commitments of numbers of years and therefore extend your budget horizon considerably. There's this, Salesforce is always adding new apps to it, but so far it's not really an ERP. It doesn't have the complete integration. Although they're certainly adding as much as they can quickly. You see a little bit about storage, and Salesforce, being a SaaS company, does have this idea of more data storage that is charged per month. And there are some limits about API calls for Salesforce as well. So it's all of these sort of things that, when presented correctly, put Odoo in a different league for capability, flexibility, and freedom ultimately. Let's talk about a few examples here. One customer of ours, it's a nonprofit. They have over 200 Odoo users and 1.5 million customer records. Let me just get to the bottom line. After we implemented Odoo correctly, and CRM being the majority of this, we were able to see a 200% increase in the business, that business unit's revenues versus the monthly average. This is a company in the Midwest that, well, nonprofit in the Midwest that really has focused to get engagement with its users in a way that I've never seen before. It's really, all nonprofits have to be engaged in order to get people to give them money. This nonprofit in particular has to come up with a whole new level of engagement to attract and retain its membership, and then always be giving them some sort of value for why they are a member of this organization. Another case study I'd like to talk about here briefly. This is also a commercial company in the Midwest. They're an industrial distributor. They don't make things, but big factories would use gear that these guys have made. I tried to draw this out in a way that we'll have some things to look at in a couple of upcoming screens here. But they've really tried hard to use advanced marketing data that they purchased in addition to Odoo from Dun & Bradstreet, Hoover's, and other sorts of organizations. In Europe, what's the equivalent of like Dun & Bradstreet? Must be some company that can give you like intelligence about different customers, business customers. Who's that? Graydon? Okay. Including the geographic coordinates, not the addresses, but actual geographic coordinates. Why? Because addresses they aren't always accurate. We've combined it with some other really advanced BI as well, and have really worked hard to improve the daily sales here. So looking at this for a second, on a typical, we have the partner location, the name. We have these special codes relating to industry as well that are extended. Moving a step further, though, we actually are capturing their latitude and longitude for mapping purposes. If they do have like a parent company, we can know about that. We know their square footage. Looking at how this works right there, the square footage. So we know, we also know their revenue, assets, everything else that we're able to get from these other records. What we have been able to do with this is help this company target new key customers in a way that was much more efficient than they've ever been able to do in the past. So we can, for less cost, get more revenue for their marketing dollars here. Okay. This company was looking hard at Salesforce, and this would be a logical Salesforce application. It's a chemical assay company. They're a laboratory that does extensive testing and certification for industry, and Salesforce sells these sort of projects all day long with some sort of customer portal, and then the customer portal having like legal agreements, self-service as well as signatures, and then even being able to do some sort of payment management. They considered this as an option instead of Salesforce. We were able to come in at about 35% of the cost of Salesforce for the same functionality. Perhaps the easiest project we've done in a long time in this sort of scale, and it's been very successful for them. To kind of talk about this a little bit, there is this idea of being able to talk about the workflows for this chemical analysis that's needed. Is it a new formulation, a new brand, or reapproving an existing formulation? And by doing this, what we're really doing is we're helping them create new products and having the certifications that are then online and available and verifiable for these new products as well. From here, once they've set up a new product and they've sent in their sample to be tested, we can display the status for all the samples that they've submitted as well. So in-process formulations, there's a bit of a workflow here, right? In-process formulations, active ones, ones that have been retired and are inactive, as well as rejected ones where it didn't meet whatever the chemical test was. Portal users, which would be the ultimate end clients of our customers, can apply for these tests and review detailed certificates of analysis on the results. So let's imagine this chemical testing company that we're working with is evaluating different kinds of detergents. And they're selling, once these detergents are sold, there may be, for bulk use, there'd be end customers that would want to go and look at the certificate of analysis and ensure that it was signed and valid, and this is the portal that they'd be going in to see. Okay. Within Odoo, it looks just like Odoo. The Odoo, we have an administrator that what we've done on the back end as a workflow, and this is again something Salesforce couldn't really do, is the customer sample triggers a manufacturing order, and that's the lab tests. It still appears to us to be one of the most logical ways of doing this, that it makes it very simple for a customer to understand it's just a manufacturing process. The lab testing itself is a manufacturing process. All work in progress steps are visible to the administrator, including even seeing the certificate type and different lab results. That's it. This, I'd say, let's go take on Salesforce, guys. Who's with me? Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Questions? Questions? Comments? Okay. Yes, sir. Jay.
Yeah. Thinking just about Salesforce. With your script of ideas of how you can, better, snatch Salesforce customers. What are the other ERPs do you think, other than these big players, can still be our fish?
That's a great question. Yeah, so let me repeat Jay's question. We talked about Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics CRM quite a bit here. US brands, yeah. And Jay's question is, can we take the same script, or how would it be different if we want to go after, if we want to create a playbook to go after other ERP or CRM systems? And I think a lot of these, I think it's a case by case of doing some analysis, but I think a lot of the same themes are still going to be there. That we have a complete system. Salesforce is not a complete system. Microsoft Dynamics CRM is not a complete system. So I think those are some of the things. Price, I think, is an obvious one. For the pure SaaS offerings, I think a big question is learning about what are the storage costs, what are the maintenance costs, whether it's SaaS or not. And I think it's a combination of, we have everything they offer and we're still 30% cheaper, or whatever the number might be. But I think this playbook idea, Jay, is very good.
Yeah, because from the Fabian session today, I recognize earlier, Odoo has started competing with main accounting software, then Magento, the e-commerce. Now it has two in picture. One is the Udemy, this e-learning platform.
Yes.
Udemy is just e-learning. Odoo is additional to e-learning now. Same way, they are now trying to compete maybe with HubSpot.
I saw that. I thought the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. The accounting, to the accounting thing that we saw a little bit later, CTO, help me out. Anthony LeSuisse. So Anthony was showing how one accountant could look at multiple firms' books. That's exactly competing with QuickBooks in the US. That was very interesting that they targeted that. So what other questions? Yes, sir.
Most of the examples you gave were more industrial examples. Do you have any for service companies? And particularly when you get into marketing automation, so obviously Salesforce has marketing journey manager, and how you should build out journeys, particularly if you're doing big email campaigns, particularly if you're doing push notifications, SMS, those types of things as well. Any examples you've got in that space?
Give me a couple months after what I just saw with 13, and I'm going to work on that. These guys are close. So this nonprofit, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's a public-facing nonprofit in the Midwest that you could think of it as kind of in the arts and entertainment museum sort of space. And they are very much engaged with that, of trying to get people not just to come once, but become long-term members and support the arts and museum-y sort of mission that they have. So, and they are doing email, text, a lot of other more sophisticated engagement. But I really want to show them what I saw in version 13, and I think that'll kick it up.
Data lock-in and the cloud, data locked in the cloud and things like that when you're on Salesforce or that kind of thing.
So I'm totally with you, and it's a, how many of you have heard, well, I just want to host it on the cloud. I want to make it easy. And they don't want to think about, well, what am I going to do in 3 years if I want to do something different? So, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's the case. People don't think before. Just say, well, they think it'll be with the application forever.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, life's easy. So, until you try to get your data out of the cloud. What else, guys? Okay. I was trying to make sure everybody got out of here for lunch. Yes?
What do our competitors say about us?
I actually do have some thoughts about that. I'd say mostly they try to ignore us. When I've used to live in the Bay Area, I knew people at Oracle and some of these other places, and their sense is Odoo, I've never heard of them, you know, and you know, why? Don't take them seriously. They're just a toy or a hobby or something.
Yes, small fish.
Small fish. Well, what I think we have to do, if I could give all of us a mission, it's always take the high road and show that we are the more serious. We're not little kids, that we are the serious ones in the room. And I think that's probably the best thing we can do, is just as an entire community, try to be the mature, adult, serious, more harder working in order to win them over. Yes, sir?
What are your customers mostly looking for from a percentage, like Odoo in the cloud, enterprise on-prem, or the community stuff?
I'm the wrong person to ask on that, okay? So given our size and shape, we're the first gold partner and leading one in North America, and we really cater to customers that want enterprise. It's not to say we won't help somebody with community, but that's not our line of work. So even our smallest customers, we have on enterprise. Odoo.sh, again, for our customers, sometimes it isn't the best fit, and more often it's some other sort of hosting. But you know, I admire Odoo.sh, and I think it's good for a lot of cases. What else, folks? Anything else? Okay, truly, I'm trying to get you in the front of the lunch line. So happy to chat afterwards. Thank you, everybody.